and welcome to Hedgehog Hollow and welcome to today's tutorial. Today I have lesson 3 in our Misty Creative Corner series for you, and it's to celebrate the selection that's been made by Honeybee Stamps to include Hedgehog Hollow and me in their new design team. So from the end of June I'll be appearing there weekly on their YouTube channel with fantastic ideas. Today I'm using their Thankful set to create this lovely card. We're going to use our Misty to create this all the way down with some lovely sentiments underneath. It says about friendship and so grateful and things like that in it as well. So let's get started as to how you can recreate this card.
So for lesson 3, as you saw, we're going to be making this lovely card using a set from Honeybee called Thanks and Giving. This is a great technique where you can do perfectly straight lines. You can either have even spacing or uneven spacing, and here I kind of mixed it up a bit. Another option that I made while trying out this technique, I'm just grabbing over here, and I did these lines here. So these straight lines I did exactly the same way as we're going to do this here, and I just moved it up 2 squares at a time. So there's lots and lots of versatility with this technique, and I love this card. I can see lots of different variations and colour schemes and all sorts of things that we can do over the course of my design team term with them. So I've started to set this up. So I've got my Misty corner, so the corner piece with the magnets in, and I've got it right against this bottom corner here, so that I just use this straight edge here at the top and my cardstock's up against it. Then I have my right angle here, and what I've done is I've lined up some of the words from the Thanks and Giving set. There's a whole host of things here, and you could use things related to giving or thankful or thank you. There's so many different options there, but I went for thankful because I want to use these for the end of year teachers cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick these up now that I've lined them up against my square there, because I know they're nice and straight. So my square was butted right up against this guide here, and then I just laid them down along there. So I can now take this away, and then what that allows me to do is I can move, as long as this is straight against here, I can move this any way along, and that gives me these different edges here. So they're not all in a perfectly straight line, they look a little bit more random. So I'll start off in this way and then we'll work our way backwards and forwards. I'm going to be using the Distress Oxide Fossilized Amber, and I'm going to ink it up all the way along like this, and I'll show you another reason why I ink it all the way along in just a moment. So let's stamp that down. And we can lift it up, and if we needed to we could also re-ink and put it back down again. So we know that our line is always going to ink around about here. Now I'm going to move this up, so I've got my gridded piece, the laminated gridded piece that you've seen me use before. I'm going to move this up 1.5 squares, so that my point is now 1.5 squares from the bottom down here. And I'm just going to lightly turn it over, and that looks absolutely perfect. So this is a quarter piece of 8.5 by 11 Nina Solar White. And there will be a linked blog post in the description. Just down here you may have to click a little arrow. So you could do a couple where they're all the same like this, and then we'll move it up another, that's the half, and that's 1, and then this time I'm going to slide it along a little bit. So I'm going to slide it a few squares over. And again we'll just keep stamping down. And I know that it's always going to stamp along here, so that gives me a really good way. So when I move it up my 1.5, I know that my piece here is going to stamp there. So if I only moved it 1 square, so if I move it back down, I know that my words are going to interrupt with here. So I'm going to move it up that extra half, and that just gives you a way to line it up. I'm going to go all the way across like this. So that we get more of that friendship in. And then we want to go another 1.5. And if your cardstock goes slightly off the top, that's fine. That's just how I'm going to lay that in there, and I'm going to go all the way to this side. I just want to make sure that it's up against here. That's the important part. And it needs to go a little bit higher. And this one's going to be slightly closer together because I don't want it to be too even. If you make it really even, it's either got to be completely perfect or make it a little bit uneven in places, and then it doesn't look like you've made a mistake if it's not exactly right. But you can do it however you prefer to do it. And you can go off the top of your Misti as I am here. If I slide that down, you can see I'm going slightly off the top there, and that's still going to work just fine. And this fossilized amber is a lovely honey coloured, so I thought it was appropriate to do a honeybee post with a nice honey colour of ink as well. And we want to go more this way. And that's another 1.5. And we'll stamp down again. And 1.5. And you just want to keep moving it backwards and forwards just so it's a little bit more offset, and then they're not all in exactly straight lines. And you want to do this all the way down to the bottom, and then we can do our other piece. So again, we'll go to here, and I haven't trimmed this down yet for matting. We'll do that at the end. I like to do it at the end because I can pick out whatever my favourite part is and just use that. So here we go. And another 1.5, and we should pretty much be there. And we'll go somewhere in the middle. And it just gives you a really pretty background doing it this way. And as I say, you can use it for all sorts of things as well. So that is our background piece. I'm just going to pop the lid on my ink just so I don't get it everywhere. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and I'm going to mat it down. So I'm going to take off some of this top piece. And I love this paper trimmer. It's a cutter peed. It's in the linked blog post. And it has these little yellow cutting mats. But I find that this one here is a little over 1/4 of an inch to the edge of that first cutting mat. And it's a really nice size for matting. And then I need to take some off one side. I think I'll take it off of here. And that's our base piece done. Super, super easy. Okay, so then the next thing I did was this thankful piece. So the pieces come as you could have thank you, thanks, thankful, give, giving, given. You could trying to think if there's any other combinations. Give thanks, so you could use it for Thanksgiving and you can use it for thank you cards. For this I'm going to use the thank and the full, so we'll go thank and full, and you're going to want to stamp these separately. I'm going to give this a quick wipe off with my stamp chamois here. And I'm going to peel these pieces off as well. And I have a piece of, again, Nina Solar White. I'm going to put in this corner. I'm just going to stick some magnets on there. And we'll start with our thank. And you want to pick that up on your Misti screen there. And I'm going to use my favourite black ink, which is the My Favourite Things hybrid. And we'll stamp that down once. And I did find I ended up doing it twice just because I wanted that really solid black image, like so. And again, we'll give that a quick wipe. The quicker you are at wiping off with your chamois, the less staining you will get. Although I do find that this My Favourite Things doesn't stain my photopolymers. And then the full, you want to overlap that little kick of the K just into some of that F, and then just try and line it up a little bit. Okay, and again we will stamp that out, and I'm going to do it twice just so that I get that nice strong impression. One, and once more. So that gives you your thankful. And then what I did, I didn't have the coordinating dies, although I have linked them up in the blog post for you. I used my scan and cut to cut it out. So if I grab the card that we're recreating, and I kept my 2 waste pieces so you can see. So this was cut out with a 0.04 rather around my image, and then this was cut out with the 0.08 around my image, and that just gave me that extra solid piece underneath. I scanned this one in with the thankful on it, cut it out, and then I went back and I just stuck this exactly the same place as this was. So I had it in the corner there, and then I cut it exactly the same, so I didn't have to scan it in again as well. So then I just finished it off with some pretty sequins. Again, I've linked all this up for you, and some black splatters from the Prima palette that I have as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll be joining me here on Hedgehog Hollow, as well as on the Honeybee Stamped YouTube page from the end of June. I really look forward to seeing you there. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. We'll see you again soon. Happy stamping. Bye.